Hi friends, I will be glad if you subscribe to my channel. The Neighborly Affair. It all began in our quaint suburban neighborhood, a place where everyone knew each other by name, kids rode bikes until dusk, and the smell of backyard barbecues filled the weekend air. My wife, Emily, and I had been married for 7 years, and together we had a spirited 5-year-old daughter named Lily. From the outside looking in, we were the picture of happiness, a model family living the American dream. Emily was everything I'd ever wanted. Intelligent, beautiful, and with a sense of humor that could brighten even my darkest days. We shared a love for music, often spending evenings playing duets on the piano and guitar. We were also trying for a second child, eager to expand our little family. Life, as I saw it, was perfect. Our neighbor Paul lived just 2 houses down. He was a recently divorced architect with an easy smile and a golden retriever named Max. Paul and I had become casual friends over neighborhood gatherings. He seemed like a decent guy, harmless, I thought. One sunny Saturday, I decided to surprise Emily with her favorite caramel lattes from the local cafe. Lily was at a friend's house for a playdate, so I had some time to spare. As I approached the cafe, the bell above the door jingled softly. The rich aroma of freshly ground coffee beans filled the air. "Good morning, Tom." Sarah, the barista, greeted me cheerfully. "The usual?" "Make that 2, please," I smiled, adding a caramel latte for Emily. "Coming right up." While waiting, I glanced around and nearly dropped my keys. There in a quiet corner sat Emily. She wasn't alone. Paul was with her. They were leaning in close, engaged in a conversation that seemed intensely personal. Emily tossed her head back in laughter, a laugh I thought was reserved just for me. Then, before I could process what was happening, Paul reached out and gently tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear. She blushed and they locked eyes in a way that made my stomach churn. I fumbled for my phone and snapped a quick photo, my hands shaking. Just as I was about to confront them, they both stood up. Paul glanced around nervously. I ducked behind a display of artisanal chocolates, heart pounding in my chest. They walked out together, oblivious to my presence. "Your drinks are ready," Sarah called out. I took a deep breath, plastered on a smile, and collected the cups. "Thanks, Sarah." "Everything okay?" she asked, noticing my pale complexion. "Yeah, just feeling a bit under the weather," I lied. Driving home, my mind raced. Maybe it was innocent. Perhaps they were planning a surprise for me, an anniversary gift. But our anniversary was months away. Deep down, I knew something was wrong. That evening, I tried to act normal. "Hey, honey, brought you your favorite," I said, handing her the latte. "You're the best," she replied, giving me a quick peck on the cheek. "How was your day?" I probed. "Just ran some errands, nothing exciting," she said, sipping her drink. "Did you bump into anyone we know?" She hesitated ever so slightly. "Nope, just me and the shopping list." I felt a knot tighten in my stomach, but decided not to push further. Over the next few weeks, I noticed subtle changes. Emily was more distant, often lost in thought. She spent more time running errands and less time at home. One night, as we were getting ready for bed, I tried to bridge the gap. "Em, is everything okay? You seem a bit distracted lately." She looked at me, her eyes reflecting a hint of guilt. "Just stressed about trying for another baby. It's a big step." I nodded slowly. "We don't have to rush. We can take our time." "Maybe that's best," she agreed, turning off her bedside lamp. I stared at the ceiling long after she fell asleep, a silence between us growing louder. Determined to find answers, I decided to follow her the next time she went out. That opportunity came sooner than I expected. "Tom, I'm heading out to pick up some groceries," she said one afternoon. "I thought we just stocked up yesterday," I replied casually. "Just a few things I forgot," she smiled, grabbing her keys. As soon as she left, I grabbed my jacket and tailed her car at a safe distance. Instead of heading to the supermarket, she drove to a nearby park. Parking behind a row of trees, I watched as she stepped out and was immediately greeted by Paul. They embraced longer than a friendly hug warranted and began walking along the path hand in hand. I snapped more photos, each one feeling like a dagger to the heart. That evening, I couldn't bring myself to confront her. Instead, I called my best friend, Mark. "Hey man, you free tonight?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Sure. What's up?" he replied. "Just need to talk. Meet at the Rusty Nail in an hour." "I'll be there." At the bar, the dim lights and clinking glasses provided a backdrop to my turmoil. "She what?" Mark exclaimed after I recounted the events. "Yeah," I muttered, staring into my whiskey. "That's unbelievable. Have you talked to her about it?" "Not yet. I don't know how to bring it up without losing it." "You can't keep this inside, Tom. It's eating you alive." "I know, but I need to handle it carefully because of Lily." He sighed. "You're a better man than me. I'd have thrown her out already." Over the next few days, I devised a plan. If Emily wanted to deceive me, then I would make sure everyone saw her true colors. I compiled the photos and drafted an email. Addressing it to her parents and our close friends, I wrote, "I thought you should know what's been happening." I attached the images and hit send. It didn't take long for the fallout to begin. My phone buzzed incessantly with messages and calls, but I ignored them all. That evening, Emily burst through the door, her eyes red and swollen. "How could you do this to me?" she screamed. "Me? How could you do this to us?" I retorted, standing up from the couch. "You had no right to share those photos. I had every right. You betrayed me, betrayed our family." She collapsed onto the floor, sobbing. "I never wanted to hurt you." "Well, congratulations, you did," I said coldly. "Can't we just talk about this privately?" she pleaded. "Privately? Like how you privately met with Paul? How long has this been going on?" She looked away, tears streaming down her face. "Almost a year." "A year?" I felt a surge of anger. "All while we were trying for another child?" She nodded silently. "Tell me, Emily, whose child were you hoping to conceive? Mine or his?" She winced as if I'd slapped her. "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair? You destroyed our marriage, and now you're worried about fairness." Lily's small voice interrupted us. "Mommy, Daddy, why are you yelling?" We both turned to see her standing at the bottom of the stairs, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Emily quickly wiped her tears. "Oh, sweetie, everything's okay. Go back to bed." I forced a smile. "Yeah, Pumpkin. Mommy and I are just having a grown-up talk." She looked uncertain but nodded. "Okay. Love you." "Love you too," we said in unison. As she disappeared upstairs, the weight of the situation pressed down on me. "For her sake, we need to figure this out," I said quietly. Emily nodded. "I agree." "Here's what's going to happen," I began. "We'll live under the same roof, but as roommates, we'll keep things normal for Lily until we figure out the next steps." She looked defeated. "I understand." "Also stay away from Paul. I don't want him anywhere near our family." "I'd already ended things with him," she whispered. "Good." The next few weeks were tense. We coordinated our schedules to avoid each other as much as possible. At dinner, conversations were minimal, focusing solely on Lily. One afternoon, I received a call from Emily's mother. "Tom, dear, how are you holding up?" she asked gently. "I'm managing," I replied. "Emily told me everything. I just want you to know that we're here for you and Lily." "Thank you. I appreciate that. Please let us know if there's anything we can do." "I will." As the months passed, the facade became harder to maintain. Lily grew more perceptive, sensing the distance between us. "Daddy, why don't you and Mommy hug anymore?" she asked one night during story time. I hesitated. "Sometimes mommies and daddies need some space, sweetheart." "Did I do something wrong?" Her eyes filled with worry. "Absolutely not," I assured her. "We both love you very much." After tucking her in, I found Emily sitting at the kitchen table, staring blankly at a cup of tea. "She's starting to notice," I said, taking a seat across from her. "I know," she sighed. "This isn't healthy for her." "Agreed." "Maybe it's time we make some decisions," she suggested. "I think so too." We decided to attend counseling, not necessarily to save our marriage, but to navigate our separation in the healthiest way possible for Lily. During one session, the therapist asked, "Is reconciliation something either of you desires?" Emily glanced at me hopefully. I took a deep breath. "I don't think I can get past the betrayal." She looked down, tears welling up. "I understand." The therapist nodded. "Then let's focus on co-parenting strategies." In the weeks that followed, we worked out the logistics. Emily would move into an apartment nearby to keep Lily's life as uninterrupted as possible. We agreed on joint custody, alternating weeks. On the day she moved out, the house felt eerily empty. Lily was confused. "Why is Mommy leaving?" she asked, her little face crumpling. I knelt down beside her. "Mommy and Daddy are going to live in different houses, but we'll both still be with you." "Will you get back together?" I swallowed hard. "I don't know, sweetheart, but no matter what, we both love you more than anything." She hugged me tightly. "I love you too." As time passed, the wounds began to heal, albeit slowly. I focused on my relationship with Lily, cherishing the time we spent together. Emily and I maintained a civil relationship for our daughter's sake. One evening, after dropping Lily off at Emily's place, I stopped by a new coffee shop in town. As I waited for my order, a familiar voice called out, "Tom?" I turned to see Sarah, the barista from our old cafe. "Sarah, it's been a while," I smiled. "Yeah, I haven't seen you around lately." "Things have been complicated," I admitted. She nodded sympathetically. "I heard a bit. Small-town gossip, you know." "Right. Well, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm a good listener," she offered. "Thanks. I might take you up on that." We exchanged numbers, and over the next few weeks we met occasionally. It was nice to have a friend who wasn't intertwined with my past. One afternoon, as we sat by the lake, she turned to me. "You seem lighter," she observed. "I feel lighter," I agreed. "I think I'm finally moving forward." "Good," she smiled warmly. "You deserve happiness." "Maybe I do." As the sun set, casting golden hues over the water, I realized that endings can lead to new beginnings. While the pain of betrayal still lingered, it no longer defined me. Epilogue. Emily and I settled into our new lives. Lily adapted surprisingly well, her resilience a constant source of inspiration. Emily and I remain amicable, attending school events together and celebrating birthdays as a family unit. Sarah and I grew closer, our friendship blossoming into something more. She brought joy back into my life, reminding me that love is possible after heartbreak. One day, while walking hand in hand, she asked, "Do you ever regret how things turned out?" I thought for a moment. I regret the pain, but not the lessons learned. She squeezed my hand. "Here's to new chapters." "To new chapters," I echoed. Reader comments. Heartfelt ad. This story resonated with me deeply, going through a similar situation, and it's comforting to know I'm not alone. Empathy, Emily. Infidelity is so painful, especially when children are involved. I'm glad they put their daughter first. Hopeful romantic. Love the ending. It's true that new beginnings can come from the darkest places. Truth seeker. Sending the photos to her parents and friends was harsh but understandable. Betrayal cuts deep. Skepticalsome. I don't know if I could have held it together like he did. Props to him for handling it maturely. Lily loves books. As someone named Lily, I felt a personal connection. Happy to see she adjusted well. Moving forward, the interaction with Sarah gives hope that love after betrayal is possible. Honest opinion. I wish Emily had shown more remorse, but maybe that's realistic. Family first. Co-parenting done right. Glad they focused on their daughter's well-being. Grateful reader. Beautifully written. Thank you for sharing such a personal and emotional journey.